Yo, what's up? Bringing you that MLB Show 17. So we just finished up the postseason program for George Springer. I'm going to go over all the cards that you get, the missions that you have to do for each player, along with the stats. So this program was kind of unique compared to the other programs. The way that it worked is that we got each player for free, basically, which is pretty nice. You got the first player in Trevor Story, and you had to do his stat missions to unlock the next player, and you just kept doing that. So these were the players in this mission. We got Trevor Story, Eddie Rosario, Ketel Marte, Addison Russell, Kiki Hernandez, Michael Taylor. Then we got some diamond players. So David Price, Trevor Bauer, Didi Gregorius, Charlie Morton, Justin Turner, and then George Springer, the final reward. If you want to finish this off, you can get 5 home runs with him and then get the 5,000 XP, 5,000 stubs, and 1,000 tickets. We'll do that eventually, but as of right now, we just want to get the postseason flashback George Springer, and that is the main reward. So we're going to redeem him, and that gives us the 95%. I mean, we still got to get home runs, but that pretty much completes this program, because if you go in the Dynasty program, you have this program completed, and that is 22%. But this is not a bad program for being basically free. You don't got to buy or put any stubs into it. You're getting 3, 4, 5, 6 diamond players for free. And some of these gold players are not bad. I really like the Taylor card. Ketel Marte wasn't bad. And they're all pretty solid. And also, they're postseason cards. So if you're still working on the postseason programs, you can put these players into them, lock those players in, and that saves you some more stubs right there. So it's a good overall program, and it's pretty easy. So just to show you guys, in the Dynasty program, once you get George Springer, it does unlock it for you. You get 1,000 XP, 50 stubs, and 5 tickets. I always say this, but those stub numbers and tickets should be up by now, but we'll take what it gives us. So now on to the missions for each player. What I'm going to do is tell you, obviously, what the mission is, which mode I did it in, and this is Conquest or versus the CPU. Those are the 2 modes that I did. How many games it took me, which gives you kind of a general idea how long it could take. And I think that's it. Oh, and if it has to be done in 1 game or if it's accumulative. Some of these you have to do in 1 game, like this Trevor Story right here. So whenever I mention Conquest, I played all my Conquest games on rookie versus the White Sox. I was the away team. Whenever I mention versus the CPU, I was playing them on All-Star. So if you're not doing other missions or programs, I was doing another mission. If you're not doing other missions and program, play them on rookie. It's definitely going to be much easier. I also was playing at Polo Grounds, which kind of makes it easy, kind of makes it difficult, obviously, depending on where you hit it. So I'm not going to mention each time why I did Conquest or versus the CPU. When I did versus the CPU, it was because I was doing it towards another mission. But for Trevor Story, you had to get 2 hits and 1 home run in 1 game. I did this in Conquest. So it could be difficult in Conquest because you only get like 2, maybe 3 at-bats if you're lucky. I did it in my first 2 at-bats. The reason that I do Conquest is that the pitcher energy is lower, so it's easier to hit in Conquest. That's another thing right there. So you definitely can do it in Conquest if you can get it done within 3 innings. If not, do it versus CPU game, and then when you get the 2 hits in the home run, you can just quit out. For all of these, you can quit out right when you get the stat, and the stats will count unless the game goes into the queue, which will kind of suck, and that's unfortunate, but it does happen sometimes. Other than that, the stats will count. But that is the Trevor Story mission. Eddie Rosario, you had to hit 1 home run. I did this in Conquest. Obviously, this has to be done in 1 game. This took me 1 game to do. It also took me the Trevor Story 1 game to do. I don't know if I said that or not. So these 2 are fairly simple. Then we have the Ketel Marte. That is to get 7 hits and 4 runs. This is accumulative. I did this in Conquest. I also played 1 game versus the CPU because I was doing another mission, like I said. But I did this in Conquest. It's probably easier just to do this straight up in Conquest. This one took me a while because I couldn't get the hits at the end. It took me like 11 games just going in, getting an at-bat, and then quitting after that 1 at-bat trying to get those hits. After I got the runs, I would just try to get the hits, obviously. Next, we have the Addison Russell. This one is to tally 4 RBIs. This one also is accumulative. I did this in a versus CPU game, and I got 3 RBIs in that one. I thought I had 4, but for some reason, one of them didn't count. So after I got that 3rd one, I went into a Conquest game to get the last one. Took me 2 games to do, But this one also is pretty easy. Just put him in the 3 or 4th slot in the lineup and you should be pretty good. The other guys, Story, Rosario, and Marte, should definitely be your leadoff hitters. Then we have Kiki Hernandez, 3 home runs. This one is a cumulative. Thank God it's not in one game like he did it in the postseason. But for this one, I did 1 game versus the CPU because I was doing other missions. And then the second game, I did it in Conquest. So this actually took me 2 games to do. I hit 1 home run in the CPU game, and then I ended up hitting 2 home runs in the Conquest game, which was pretty nice. So like I was saying, 1 was in Polo Grounds, and then the 2 were at White Sox Stadium. You probably should have him at the top of the order, leadoff or second, just to get him the most opportunities depending on what you are doing. I really don't have a tip because I feel like a lot of people have been struggling with this one. I power swing, especially on Conquest. I power swing playing on rookie. If you don't like White Sox Stadium, and the reason I picked the White Sox is because they don't really have that many good pitchers, so it's easier to hit off of them. Another team that I was doing was also the Reds, so I kind of switched from the White Sox or the Reds. The Reds Stadium is just an easy place to hit home runs in. You can also do Coors Field or Yankee Stadium. Those are probably the 4 teams that I would play if you want to hit home runs. But if you just go in a game, try to get that first at bat. If you hit the home run, you can just quit. If not, just keep going in and quitting games until you get the 3 home runs. Then we got Michael Taylor's 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. I did one of these games in a versus CPU game, and then I did the rest in Conquest game. So this card actually is pretty nice. I like this card from what I've used from him. And I got the home runs pretty easy. I actually had like 4 home runs with him before I got the 8 RBIs. And it took me 3 games to do. So this one was pretty easy. Doing this in Conquest is probably the easiest way to do this, as is all the other player missions that only require like a few stats. Then we have our first diamond player for David Price. This was to tally 7 innings pitched and 6 strikeouts. This one is a cumulative, so this one's not bad. I did this in a versus CPU game, and I brought him in the second inning. So whoever I had my starter in pitched the first inning, brought in Price in the second inning, and had him pitch out the rest of the game. So if you're doing it on rookie, 6 strikeouts is pretty easy. And he's a relief pitcher, so it's not going to be that difficult at all. Took us 1 game. Then we have Trevor Bauer. This one is to tally 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, and a win. This one does have to be done in 1 game. So once again, this one we did versus the CPU. I made sure he was my starting pitcher, so I quit out until he was starting the game. You can bring him in if he doesn't start, but because I was playing on All-Star, I definitely need him starting so I don't give up that many hits. If you're doing that on rookie, 8 strikeouts is not really that difficult. He has some pretty good pitches. His velocity is pretty good. So normally, whenever I play versus the CPUs, to get easy strikeouts, high and in fastball, low and away off speed. Just keep alternating those, and you should be able to get the strikeouts. But we did this in 1 game, and it has to be done in 1 game, but this one is pretty easy. Then we have Didi Gregorius. This one's to get 12 hits, 3 home runs, and 7 RBIs. This one is a cumulative. We did this one all in Conquest mode. I might have did one of them versus the CPU, but a majority of this I did in Conquest. This one actually took me the longest. I think the longest thing for me, for him, was to get the home runs. I couldn't get a home run with him. It took me 25 games going in, getting that first at bat with him, and then quitting out. The hits and RBIs weren't that bad, but I know it took me a while to get the 3 home runs. So kind of the same with Kiki Hernandez. Use the stadiums that I mentioned. Those are definitely the best ones to go after. You could also play in Polo Grounds if you're playing like versus the CPU to try to get inside the park home runs, along with home runs in left and right field. Next, we have Charlie Morton. This one is to get 4 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, and a win. Did this one versus the CPU. Afterwards, I thought about it. You probably could do this in Conquest. Just get 4 innings with him, extend that game a little bit to get it done that way. Definitely could work if you do it that way, but I did it versus the CPU. Did in 1 game. This one is also pretty easy, especially if you are on rookie difficulty. And then the last one is Justin Turner. This one's to get 16 hits, 4 home runs, 8 runs, and 14 RBIs. So this one will take a while. I did a couple of these games versus the CPU, and then I did the rest in Conquest. So this one obviously is a cumulative. Took me 21 games. So the Didi Gregorius is the one that took me the longest, but Justin Turner took me just as long. I think the last thing we needed with this was the last 2 hits, but home runs did take a while to get for this one, and we were just doing 1 at bat and then quitting out of games. But those are the player missions that you got to do for each of the players. And then you have the George Springer up here, which is to get 5 home runs. And if you do him, you'll get the 5,000 XP, 5,000 stubs, and 1,000 tickets. So you don't need to do that to get George Springer, but if you want to get that extra stuff, that's what you got to do. And we will be using him in ranked seasons and Diamond Dynasty. We'll have a debut game for him. But now let's check out the stats for all of these players. So first we got Trevor Story. He has 59 contact versus righties, 84 versus lefties, 81 power versus righties, and 94 versus lefties, 28 vision. Fielding is not bad, 77 fielding, 71 arm strength, 76 arm accuracy, 69 speed. So he's pretty good against lefties, good power numbers. That vision kind of kills him though. Next we got Eddie Rosario. He has 82 contact versus righties, 71 versus lefties, 86 power versus righties, and 42 versus lefties, 63 vision. He's an outfielder, so his fielding is okay, not really the best. 74 fielding, 75 arm strength, 70 arm accuracy, and 62 speed. So this card is pretty good against righties. Good contact numbers. Vision is a little bit better than Story's at 63, so it's not a bad card. Next, we got Ketel Marte. He has 71 contact versus righties, 82 versus lefties, 48 power versus righties, and 69 versus lefties, 69 vision. Infielder, so 73 fielding, 75 arm strength, 68 arm accuracy is okay. I mean, it's definitely serviceable, and 83 speed. So the nice thing about this card is he is a switch hitter. His stance is not bad, and his contact numbers are not bad either. Then we got Addison Russell. He has 67 contact versus righties, 60 versus lefties, 77 power versus righties, and 70 versus lefties, 46 vision. He has some pretty good fielding stats, 86 fielding, 81 arm strength, 78 arm accuracy, and 71 speed. So his hitting stats, they're okay. They're not really anything that great. Power numbers are better than his contact numbers, and then he got 46 vision. So overall, he's fine. His fielding stats are what make him an 85 overall. Here we have Kiki Hernandez. He has 64 contact versus righties, 81 versus lefties, 61 power versus righties, and 88 versus lefties, 64 vision, has 78 fielding, 66 arm strength, 60 arm accuracy, and 64 speed. So he can play a lot of positions, the outfield and the infield, which is pretty nice. He's pretty good against lefties. His numbers versus righties are not bad. And then the 64 vision is not bad either, so it's a good card. Then we got Michael Taylor. He has 70 contact versus righties, 85 versus lefties, 86 power versus righties, and 76 versus lefties, 38 vision, has 79 fielding, 89 arm strength, 65 arm accuracy, and 77 speed. So he's got good contact versus lefties and good power versus righties. His power numbers overall aren't that bad. His 38 vision is kind of low, which might hurt this card. But when I was using him, I really liked his stance, and I hit the ball pretty well with him. So it's not a bad card. Definitely from the goal players, I would maybe say he was the best one. And then he has good fielding, so I really like this card. Now on to some of the diamond players. We got David Price. He has 78 stamina, 90 hit per 9, 81 K per 9, and 69 walk per 9, 92 velocity, and 78 break. He got the two-seam fastball, the cutter, the changeup, and the curveball. So his pitches aren't bad, and he has some pretty good velocity on his pitches. His off speed is not bad either. I actually like this card. He's definitely going to be good for long relief with that 78 stamina, so he can go deep in games if you need to, or just like an innings eater kind of pitcher. He'll be a good fit for most teams. Next, we got Trevor Bauer. He has 90 stamina, 76 hit per 9, 87 K per 9, 66 walk per 9, 94 velocity, and 98 break. Got the fastball, 12-6 curve, slider, changeup, and sinker. So I think I said this. His pitches are pretty good. I really like his pitches. He can get up to like 97, I believe, which is not bad. And he has great break on pitches. He also has one of those unique motions, which could be tough to pick up for some people. His hit per 9 number is kind of low, but his K per 9 is definitely good. And then his control, his walk per 9 could be better. Might affect his pitching a little bit, but it's still a pretty solid card. Next, we got Didi Gregorius. He has 85 contact versus righties, 69 versus lefties, 89 power versus righties, and 50 versus lefties, 88 vision with 87 fielding, 78 arm strength, 78 arm accuracy, and 72 speed. So very good against righties, and he has some pretty nice vision. So a good left-handed hitter right here, but he has pretty good stats. Good fielding, definitely a good card. Next, we have Charlie Morton. He has 74 stamina, 85 hit per 9, 86 K per 9, 71 walk per 9 with 92 velocity and 89 break. He has the two-seam fastball, knuckle curve, four-seam fastball, cutter, and splitter. So he's another innings eater kind of pitcher, good for long relief. a relief pitcher right here, so he has good stamina. Hit per 9 and K per 9 numbers are also very good for a relief pitcher. And then his velocity, I think he threw upwards of 96, 98, something like that. So he has some pretty good heat on his pitches. Definitely a solid card right here. I definitely can see Morton and Price being in a lot of people's bullpens at this stage of the game. Next, we got Justin Turner. He has 80 contact versus righties, 95 versus lefties, 78 power versus righties, and 82 versus lefties, 90 vision, has 76 fielding, 74 arm strength, 60 arm accuracy, and 45 speed. So hitting stats on this card are actually pretty good. Good contact, pretty solid power numbers, great vision. So hitting wise, he's set, can play all infield positions, which is pretty nice. And then his fielding stats, depending on where you play him, kind of affects, how good his fielding stats are. But they're all serviceable wherever you play him. Pretty nice card right here. And finally, the main reward, George Springer. He has 75 contact versus righties, 88 versus lefties, 94 power versus righties, and 99 versus lefties, 61 vision, 83 fielding, 86 arm strength, 68 arm accuracy, and 77 speed. So contact numbers are pretty good. Power numbers are great. And 61 vision is not bad. A 95 overall card, had 5 home runs in the World Series. He had a pretty good postseason overall. So definitely worthy of this card. And overall, I'm glad they did this program. It was a nice program to have. 12 free players and some pretty solid diamond players. The gold players weren't bad either. But overall, for a free program, this was pretty nice. I mean, really the only complaint that you could have for this program is they could have picked the wrong players for some of the teams. But I think they got a good mix right here and a lot of quality players. That is going to do it for this one. Let me know what you guys thought about this program, how far you are in this, and if you're trying to get George Springer. I definitely would, because this is a solid card right here. And you definitely can use postseason players for other programs and missions and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth doing, and I think it's a good card. But once again, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'm out.